start, and then if they,
then we'll add them in.
Yeah.
I mean, we got 4 of 6, so that's more than, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, that's somebody's keeper, so. All right, call to order, at 5:10. We do a roll call, please.
Mayor Rochelle.
Dave Oliver.
Jim Hamilton, I'm sorry. My pen just went out.
Roman Garcia, and then we have Andres from the town.
Jim.
Oh, an extra?
I'm a teacher. I got
Thank
like
you.
7.
Okay, so we have enough members to conduct the meeting. Any additions, subtractions, or corrections to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next item. Adoption of last meeting's minutes, which were provided here in the email and in person. I'll give you guys a couple minutes just in case you haven't gone through them.
It was like a book, short story.
Mhm.
It was.
That was very good. That full, I mean.
I think whoever wrote these minutes should get an A plus.
Mhm.
Okay, anybody want a motion?
I'll make a motion we approve.
Motion by Dave Oliver, is there a second? Second by Miriam Ochoa, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries, minutes are approved as submitted 4-0. All right, section 5, old business, schedule leading up to ceremony. Obviously, I think Jim, you went to the council meeting where we got the approved resolution, so we did get that approved. The deadline was extended to August 1st. In the resolution, and we solidified the second Saturday of December moving forward for our event every year. So that was favorably approved at the council meeting in June. So we're meeting today to go over some nominees, and then I have to write a council item by tomorrow afternoon for Jeremy to get it on the council meeting for next week. And then, you know, once we get that approved, then we can let people know, and then we'll start working with Tico and then our sponsors and stuff like that to get our ceremony up and running. So that takes care of 1 and 2. When we say approve recommendations, what are we talking about there? Anders, do you know?
If I'm not mistaken, that was just the, yeah, for the changes,
Okay.
to,
Of what you just said.
Okay, so that we're good there. Anders, we finally update the sponsorship package to include the bronze.
correct, and that was sent over to you guys, via email.
All right, and then there, is the town gonna start, blasting that out, that we're looking for sponsors for our event, now that we have the date?
Yeah, once, right after this meeting, I can send an email to our communications department and we can start, really pumping that out to the public.
I mean, again, I mean, I think we have our, you know, we have title sponsor that has first right of refusal, if I'm not mistaken, right, Jim, which is Ocean Bank.
Yes,
Okay, have you talked to them already?
I haven't talked to them, no.
Okay,
So I think we were waiting, or I can reach out to them, or do you do that? I mean,
New to this, so up to you guys. Did Austin do it last year for you guys, or
I
were
think
you guys?
you spearheaded Ocean at least, or.
well, I mean, we already had that in the works, and then I think Austin reached out to them.
Okay.
On emails.
Okay.
Cause they had to go through some committees.
Yeah, so I mean, Andres, if we can, I guess,
Yeah,
just follow up
I'll
with
reach
the
out.
sponsors we had. Obviously, Ocean being the first right of refusal for title. But the other sponsors that we might have had, if we can reach out to them and send them the sponsorship package and say we're looking for them to being part of the event again. You know, and then we'll go from there to see what fish we get by the next meeting.
Okay.
See who we can lock up.
Right, because it's not, the auto mall would be a consideration if Ocean Bank backed out.
Yeah, so we just need to see if Ocean Bank is good or not. Because it was Ocean Bank, Auto Mall. Who else did we have last?
Grand companies,
The grand companies. Which is-
auto mall, grand companies, Ocean Bank.
Can't draw it off the top of my head, I don't remember.
Vicky Bakery, my next auto mall here, is that Ocean Bank? That's all we had on the front of the,
So, and Nikki was in kind, so.
yeah. But that's the,
Wait.
those are the only three that we.
I mean,
had
I'm
on
gonna
the
speak to
front of
her again this year because obviously it wasn't what I expected last year, so. Yeah, it's Ocean Bank, the Grams and Miami Lakes Auto Mall. Cause then Fiesta Carousel is in kind. So we'll have to start the negotiating, you know, talking with them to see what it's gonna cost us to do the same setup as last year.
Okay.
And stuff like that. I know Marcos usually handles Fiesta Carousel, but I know he's pushed that out to last year. Austin was the one that was handling that, so. But now that we have a date and time locked in, which I want to say is December 14th is the second
Correct.
Saturday this year.
Yep.
Yeah, so 12/14 at 5:30. 5:30 VIP and then 6:30 general.
That's what we.
That's what we agreed about, right?
We have an hour.
6:30 general. 6:30 start. It's a ceremony start.
Right,
So I don't know if you want to also send that out already to the council. Just so that they can put it on their calendars. Obviously, I know there's gonna be some turnover in November. On the council, but obviously just so that they're aware of it, that it's already locked in play.
Yeah, and whenever whoever's new in the
Yeah.
council will
In November, then you'll hit them up with that at that point.
we'll invite them in.
Yep.
Due time.
All right, committee update, anything else on marketing or sponsorship? I know I had a conversation with Jeremy this morning and obviously we didn't get any nominations, but I know I did see the town aggressively putting it out there, the call for nominations.
Yeah.
So this one can't be on the town. They did everything they could for the last month and a half through the communications department, so I'm very appreciative of that. So we'll just, we'll continue to move forward with that. Anything else on marketing or sponsorship, Jim? That you know?
no,
No? Miriam, anything?
No, I know we're building, HMO, with Moritz. I'm building a alumni. A very active alumni for HMO now, moving forward. We have a meeting at the end of this month, so I think, I'm gonna ask them, and then one of my kids, dad does med spa. I guess he just opened up in Miami Lakes, but closer to the west part, so.
he does
Yeah,
what?
a med spa,
What's that?
Like a massage place?
now, enhance your looks.
Oh,
Oh,
Like
sure. Yeah.
Botox and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, he does very well, so,
wow,
seems like that's a popular thing
he
nowadays.
must be handsome.
He's still young, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah, so
Like,
I'll
more money
reach
the
out to our old sponsors, and then if you guys know people and get people on board as well.
Is that 305 Hoops still even in the town?
Yeah.
They're still playing there at Miami Lakes Outlands?
I think they were struggling in this location.
Which is why they backed out of
Right.
sponsoring us last year.
Money-wise.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't know if you want to reach out to them
they're
and
still,
see.
they're still running. Yeah, I'll reach out.
I mean, because they were a sponsor, I want to say 2 years ago, and they
Okay.
backed out last year.
Right.
But if we can get them even at a bronze level,
Right.
we'll take 250.
That's what I was gonna say. I think
You know.
right now, even like the small, and then, as it moves forward, people might get more money, but let's just get them a foot in the door.
So
He actually attended the event.
the first year, yeah, 2 years ago, I remember he brought some memorabilia and stuff.
Yeah, I think,
Like, I mean, I reached out to the collectible place across town, over by Royal Oaks,
That's
but
right.
they never, I gave the contact info to Austin. Austin reached out a couple times by email, but the guy never replied, so.
yeah.
Yeah, Fidel.
Carbon
Yeah,
collectors,
Carbon Flag. I know the one, so I'll,
if you can chat with him. I mean, I had a conversation with somebody there, a manager.
yeah.
He gave me the contact. I turned around, I gave Austin that contact, and Austin, I know, told me he emailed him a couple times, but the guy never answered, so.
Okay.
I mean, I just think that would be a cool
sporty
thing.
thing,
It's a sporty
yeah.
thing. I mean, what
Yeah.
more,
Spark collectibles.
exactly.
if we reached out to somebody like Publix, they just need enough time to
Yeah.
do it, because it goes through corporate,
Right.
and then, but,
But maybe the Publix, I mean, yeah, we need to find out the Publix here in Miami Lakes. I know Austin reached out last year, but they told him, no, it's got, we need more time. Because that's something we can get as an in-kind, or they'll give you a gift card,
Right.
$50, whatever it is. And we can use that to buy whatever we gotta buy, whether it's plates or napkins or cups or wine or whatever we buy, because we buy all that out of our budget.
Mhm.
And I think Costco was the same thing. If I'm not mistaken, Austin reached out to Costco also and they told them the same thing, you just need to give us more time. So I guess now will probably be the time to start hitting them up.
Yeah,
Because we're about 4 months out and, we have a date set, so.
and then also for. I'll reach out to everybody for this event, but obviously next event, we always know it's gonna be the second.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we know it's the second
December.
Saturday of December, same time, 5:30 with a 6:30 start.
Yeah, so it'll be easier to get those sponsorships.
Okay, so moving on, committee update. I know Ryan and Marcos aren't here. I'm assuming we still have one vacancy, which is Councilmember Morera.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know he did mention that he wants to nominate someone.
Yeah, 2 candidates.
He does he?
I mean, he did, I mean, I don't know by now.
Yeah, he hasn't reached out to me in regards to adding another person,
Okay.
but I can follow up with him and see. Who he's nominated.
Okay. So that's basically the only open seat we have right now in our committee. All right, so now the fun time starts. New business. Time to pick a class for this year, for 2024. Unfortunately, we had no nominations from the outside. So any nominations are gonna come from inside this room. I know we've had discussions in the past. I know we did change the length of time someone could be nominated, it changed to 5 years from 3. That people could be held over. Unfortunately, the person that I do want to nominate expired at the 5-year already, so I'm just gonna re-nominate. And that's gonna be Danny Delgado, who was a pitcher for he played at Pace High School, longtime Miami Lakes resident, co-owner of Mayor's Cafe, played for the Seattle Mariners, made it all the way to I think AA or AAA. I do have his bio that his wife sent me a while back, and I can share it with you guys if you want. I know he's pretty well known in the town.
Or mayors on my legs, you better be a sponsor.
I've never wanted to hit that. I never wanted to touch that.
It's almost like.
I didn't touch that because of the
No, I
Manny
just-
Sid reference.
I'm just. Listen, I thought at every angle.
Yeah. He actually had a full scholarship to UM in '97, but was drafted by the Mariners. And he played there until '03 with the Mariners. And stuff like that. And actually, the stadium over at Pace is named after him, so. So that would be my nomination for consideration. And then I know the walking encyclopedia next to me will have a lot more.
The question is, so he's currently going into this class, or?
I'm nominating for this.
Okay,
class.
okay.
So, I mean, I can do a nomination form afterwards. I have the paperwork. Jeremy actually found it today. So, and then I found the email that was submitted, so. What do you got, Jim?
Right, I've got a HML soccer player that went on to, Mike Cavone, who went on to Berry University. And there's like 13 pages of resume from this person that's won all sorts of coaching awards. They won, college, let's see, it would be Division II national championships.
He just
while
retired,
was
didn't
coaching.
He is now.
He just retired as an AD.
Yeah.
Yeah, while he was coaching, and then under his athletic directorship, they also won 2 national titles at least in volleyball, women's volleyball.
Soccer, we got some.
Yeah, so
Tennis.
What's his name?
Mike Cavone.
Mike Cavone, Covone,
Steve.
Covone, Mike
And he
Cavone.
would go in as a community builder.
He would go in as, well, I circled all 3 because he actually was an outstanding soccer player at HML. Either he or his brother was a high school American. He was also on the first team to win the state championship. And his coach was, I think,
It was.
was
So there we go.
Jose Enriquez, who we honored last year. So I think, did everybody get his information?
No, you sent that to Jeremy and Jeremy sent it to me, so I wasn't able to
Oh,
send it out to the,
so
but I can email that right now and then everybody
I
can have it.
mean, if anybody wants to look it over, you know, you can look it over here.
I mean, there's more accolades as an athletic director than they were as a player, but, you know, he's, I think, an outstanding candidate. The next person I have is Alex Fernandez, pitcher for the Marlins.
White Sox mainly.
White Sox, to begin with, I guess, right? And he's going in as a player, an athlete. Got my wrong terminology there. And then there's some statistics on him in here, but I think everybody knows.
Yeah.
Of him.
I think I know who he is.
He played like 10 years, in baseball. He has stats. I copied the stats out of computer. So I can go on.
Mhm.
Okay. The third one is interesting. He's the baseball coach at Columbus High School, Joe Weber. He lives in Miami Lakes on Garvok Place, and has probably for over 10 years. But they've won high school state championships at Columbus. He's obviously developed I can't say he really developed the program, but he's maintained it because they've always had an outstanding baseball program. He's celebrated, he has 600 high school wins at Columbus. And he's spent, I believe, his whole career at Columbus High School. He also runs a web ball baseball academy in the summer. He's a good character. I mean, I know him personally.
Community builder,
Pardon?
community builder, or
Well,
what?
he's actually a coach.
Okay.
So I put him as a coach. Yeah, he's definitely, I would put as a coach. I don't know, I'm sure it's in there, but how many years he's been at Columbus, that he's at
A lot.
600 wins.
Yeah.
He's been there
I mean,
25 years.
I've been at the city for 18. I was at the Herald for 12 before that, and Joe was already coaching when I was at the Herald. So that tells you it's been
Over
many.
20 years of
Yeah.
coaching one school, which is unusual.
And
And
his name is Mike Weber.
Joe Weber.
Joe Weber. Weber is Weber.
Yep.
Not
1B.
1B.
1B. Anyway, okay. The last one I had was the person that started the Optimus Club of Miami Lakes. His name is Rivers Denby. Back in 1969, he and a neighbor started knocking on doors in Miami Lakes to develop an Optimus program. I think they had to have like 50 members actually sign up and pay their dues and form a club. He was instrumental in the organization and the management of the club. Also determined the sports that were offered. He recruited parents to coach. He developed fundraisers to raise money because back then they had no startup capital. He met with the county to plan the park, and he worked with the grant companies to incorporate everyone's efforts because everybody was kind of like not disorganized, but he put everybody kind of like in a place that allowed us to, get started. He served the club as the club president the first 2 years, and he remained on the board of directors for 8 more years. He is currently retired and he lives up near Orlando, but he still remains active with our club. And so if we have any issues, sometimes we'll call him for guidance and advice. So those are the 4 that we put in. I rushed this last one because I didn't know Jeremy had called me too.
What happened to Jose Caballero?
You had that one. I never had that one. You turned that one into,
Yeah, I turned it in.
yeah.
So right now we've had an issue locating previous nominations. So right now it's really, up to you guys is what you guys remember, and then we'll fill out the paperwork afterwards. Cause I need to I've been looking for like a week now for those documents and I just can't find them, so.
So why don't you just introduce?
Yeah,
you can bring them up and-
Yeah, I introduced Jose because he's a longtime resident of Miami Lakes. Had a very successful business in repairing and maintaining automobiles, but athletically, he was good enough to go in for professional ball, but because of his family situation, they had to migrate from Cuba to Venezuela. And when they got here, you know, he had to work. And but he played at Jackson, where he was the best player on the team, and the team that included Warren Cromartie. And then in recent years, they have the big baseball, not softball, but baseball and softball, but he plays baseball in the over 70s group and over at Fort Myers, and he constantly wins the MVP. He's played in our Geezer softball program, where he's of course one of our top players. You know, we'll be celebrating our 15th anniversary next month, and he is just incredible what he does. And but his key thing is that he represents Miami Lakes very nicely at the big tournaments at Fort Myers and other places around the country in baseball, and where he is a terrific infielder. And but he also has got involvement here in Miami Lakes as one of the coaches at the Optimus Park. But just a terrific guy, and if you ever need a testimonial on him, ask Gina, our town clerk, who's his
And
neighbor.
then he would go in as what category?
Well, he's an athlete,
Athlete.
you know.
How old is he? That was,
Well, his birthday is same day as mine, but he's 11 years younger, so that would make him like 72. But when he plays in the big baseball tournaments at Fort Myers, he doesn't necessarily play in the 70s. He'll play in the 50s and 60s group.
oh, jeez. And his last name is Caballero?
Caballero, Cabellero. I turned in quite a bit of information on him.
I remember a picture of him that you sent with all his trophies.
Yeah, he's got a room just full of trophies and awards, because he's been that good.
I thought
And
he,
he's been, say, a long time resident and contributor here in Miami Lakes.
I thought he worked for Trophy Land.
Yeah,
I've never seen so many trophies from one person.
yeah, it is. It's incredible. He's done, but plus one of the things he's done, and which included when he was in Venezuela, Topps used to put out baseball cards in the Venezuela edition. He not only collected them, but he was able to bring those back, and that helped him grow to one of the not one of the largest, but one of the most viable sports collectibles guys in the state of Florida, and if not the Southeast.
And you said in the past, because the two people that come to my mind, Don Tufts has never been considered and put in there. For, I guess,
He had never, I was going to Optimus people that one because of age, trying to get them in before, like, you know, Deming passed after, I mean, the year after, and we were trying to get Mike Uspensky in, and he died a couple of months before.
Mhm.
So that's probably why.
Okay,
So it's not that, you know, he couldn't be. So just let me get reminded that if we submit somebody, even like a Rivers Denby that may not qualify this year, but would be in the system, they sit
Up to
for.
5 years. Now
Okay.
now it's 5 years.
Okay, so that's, okay.
Yeah, now
So
we
anybody
extended it
wants
from
to-
3 to 5.
Anybody we submit, even if they weren't elected tonight, would be eligible next year.
right, because I think I asked about him last time and Reed Stevenson, but they said that people have already nominated them, so that they were already in there, so I didn't
Not
ask.
two, Reed was.
Reed
Reed
was.
But,
Don wasn't?
No,
Oh, because I think I even reached out to Heather, and I thought she told me that they had already, somebody had submitted years ago.
You know, if he did, I don't.
I
know
never,
that name. I
that
know
name
him.
doesn't ring a bell to me.
Yeah, and I know him, but I don't. I never, I did personally myself.
Okay,
Yeah, that name doesn't ring a bell to me. I know Reed was nominated by
Reed was
Like
nominated like
Curtis.
the
first year, first or second year. Like Curtis, I mean, I'd have to go back to see if he copied me on the email, I don't think he copied me on the email, but. I remember that application coming in from Curtis, his son,
yeah,
and stuff like that. So technically, he would still be on the table right now. I think this would be his last year unless he gets renominated. But,
Right.
So I guess we
I
have
throw
to,
his name in the hat.
okay, Reed.
Which then leads me to this, because you asked me what categories, are we going based on, picking one from every, the category as
No.
far as, no, that doesn't matter.
Right.
You just were asking just to.
Yeah, just
put
right,
it in.
I know what.
Okay,
what-
no, because you, so I said, let me make sure it's not like,
No, no.
you know, okay,
It's nice to balance it, but
Right.
we never intentionally, we went by the best candidates,
Okay.
not necessarily, well, they could be all soccer players or volleyball players, we just never did it that way,
okay.
right? I mean,
Correct.
okay.
So no, not either like oldies, newbies, no mixed with that,
Well,
like try
I
to
mean-
balance,
Well, all I did is, yeah, I mean, I think that's good, but you asked me about the optimist, so that's why I had other people that, because of age. I wanted to
got
get in ahead of Don, of course, Don's deceased, so that anytime we put him in. It would be okay, because again, he's deceased, so.
right?
Yeah.
For me, for his name, because. You know, you can't just pick one daughter, but like I know once he passed, I know that Heather and them have kept Orange Bowl alive for quite a while after he had passed. So I felt like they're daughters, but I can't just pick one. So then that's when I called Heather and I was like, hey, can we nominate your dad? Cause to me, they were a staple.
Right.
The Orange Bowl is a staple here.
So
So I
that'd be a
was,
good nomination from you.
Do you want to put him in the hat for this year, or you want to hold off and put him in for next year?
I mean, I'll put him in the hat for this year.
I mean, again, if you're putting him in the hat, it doesn't matter
Maybe in
because.
the hat, right?
Exactly, I mean, at the end of the day, if you put him in the hat, if he doesn't get in this year, he'll be there. And he would be what, a community builder?
Don Tufts. DONTUFTS.
DU.
TS, related.
Oh, okay, very good.
And he would be a community builder, correct?
Yeah. Then can I also throw Reed back in the hat? then?
Yeah,
If
I already
his
wrote it
last
down,
year,
so-
Yeah. I didn't know he had history with Jim.
Who, Reed? I know Reed very well, I was at Pace for many years.
Oh, well, he's my name. He's my front domain.
I actually, I'm the one that reached out to Curtis and told Curtis to nominate him
Yeah.
back in the day.
So Reed,
He almost sold me.
Reed, REID
REID.
Stevenson.
Almost bought a car.
Actually, I saw them at Bayers 3-4 months ago.
Mm.
Alright, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 names. I know we usually tend to go into 4. We've gone as high as 5. 1, 2, 3. 6 years, we've done 3 4s and 3 5s. In the 6 years. So. I guess at this point, we have our 8 nominations, right? We usually do a rating system
Right,
from 8 to 1. 8,
probably, we should probably vet some of the ones that just came in, because.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know, Dave knows
Caballero.
Don and doesn't know, no, I mean, he knows Jose, but he doesn't know Don Tufts, and he
Mhm.
doesn't know Reed Stevenson, because he wasn't here when they were presented.
Gotcha.
So they should be, just like we talked about these guys,
Okay.
somebody should talk,
I mean, he spoke about Jose.
right? About Reed and
Yeah.
Don, because you're submitting those two.
Do you want, I mean, I have some of Reed's stuff, but do you, I mean, you know it off the top of your head before I.
Well, no, I mean, I worked with him. He was an assistant coach when I was
Yeah.
a student. And then Curtis was, I think, 2 years after me. At Pace and stuff like that. So that's why I worked, I was like the student manager for basketball. And we won state titles in '96.
Is there anyone that we have that we all have unanimous would say, like, there's one person without a doubt I'd say yes to.
I would say Alex Hernandez.
I was gonna say Michael Ball.
You know.
If I
I
do
say
Alex
both.
Hernandez, I wouldn't do another baseball player. That's me though. Because it's kind of like, then it becomes a comparison of like, you got somebody like an Alex Fernandez, I don't know Daniel Delgado that well. But I don't know that I would put those two together, because if one is extremely more, has more accolades, I don't know, I just wouldn't put them in the same boat together.
Like I said, I never.
It's
I never
like,
even
you
thought
have
of
this
that.
guy and then you have like that, but it's not
You
the
have a
same. They play the same-
super-
yeah.
Yeah, but you have two different eras also.
I understand that, but I.
So you're talking one kid in Alex's case, he was in the 1988,
Mhm.
and Danny was 1997. So you're talking a 10-year gap where baseball evolved.
100%, and you're talking about, you guys think about, you're a sports guy. The general population isn't, and so you're giving names out, and you probably know stats, you know this, you know that. The regular person that sees that, sees just big name, who they are, and like, how are you gonna compare this guy and this guy in the same class? Again, because I do stuff at school, people don't, like, social wise, people are not as well-rounded as sometimes we know information, and they're not looking at it that way. And it might not, and I don't know, because I don't know Danny Delgado at all. I don't know how that would suit them.
Maybe we should, if, let's say Alex Fernandez is our top choice, then go ahead and put him, you know, in POW 1, I guess. NC, or did you want to go back to the system we had before where we rate all of them?
I think we need to rate.
Okay, so then-
That's one thing,
okay.
and then, you know,
There's a rubric,
there, yes and no. I mean, it's something.
a rubric, you're saying a rating system, so if we're gonna say 2 points, 1 point, then.
And the
there's
way
gotta
we
be
do
something
it
that-
is, okay, there's 8 names. If we're gonna consider all 8, you give me a list 1 to 8. And your number 1 gets 8 points and your 8 gets 1 point.
Yeah, but like, but I'm gonna put someone down, like, I don't know Danny, I don't know Jose, I don't know Rivers Denby, like, to me, then I need, if we're gonna rate it, you gotta know. The
But you're-
people involved, why I'm rating, I rate that guy an 8, but I don't know him, he might be phenomenal. But I'm gonna name him because I don't know him, but
And that's
not-
where,
not a
that's where
system.
these come in handy once we get them, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Cause that allows us to study it, yeah.
Correct, but we don't have that, so that's my question, that's my next question.
Roman, let me ask you this, are there any on here that would be natural candidates for a future year? Like maybe they're passed away, so it makes no difference whether they do it this year or next year or the following year.
Right. Well, I could say, Rivers Denby could be,
Uh-huh.
And then we mentioned that Don Tuss has passed away.
Oh, yeah.
that would drop it down to 6. We could do that and then have more discussion on each of the remaining candidates comparing. You know, who, I mean, we could do it, we can do our rating system where we could say, is Alex Fernandez kind of like our
I think he's our headliner.
Yeah, you
headliner?
got bell cow.
I would think so, and if that's the case, if everybody agreed, we could go ahead and put him in. Whether he's first or fourth. I
Mhm.
think he is a name that draws maybe other people, maybe the hope is to get people to attend.
Mhm.
Have you said in the past that people have respectfully declined?
Yes.
So let's say you make him your headliner, but let's just say he respectfully declines, what
I
happens?
think I've talked to him on the phone.
No, I'm just saying,
Oh, okay.
I'm just asking.
We've never had that part.
Oh, okay.
Not where,
Not
we, the person we feel is a headliner would decline. We
That has not happened.
That hasn't.
Okay, okay,
Cause usually, that's usually vetted before we even,
got you.
so like, in this year's case, he would be the headline.
Okay.
And like Jim says, he's already had the conversation with him, like a preliminary conversation. Obviously, no promises are made in those preliminary conversations, but you know,
Okay.
So if we agreed on Alex, then we were looking, if we also agree that we're gonna use 4 as the number. Maybe go 5, but if 4 is an easy number to work with. Then we would be looking for 3 additional ones, and the other one that I would pipe up on would be Mike Cabone. He is, he's done it as a player, a coach, and an administrator. He's probably one of the only ones. Maybe Don Shula, but anyway. He definitely has a strong resume. And represented Miami Lakes High School and the College Berry University.
I just did highlights just to look through there. Like I said, you can, give more on Reed. That he went to, he taught and coached football at Hialeah High, then North Miami. He started the basketball program in Mike Lakes with Jim and Richard Blake. Coach Steven for during his time. He's still at Pace, coaches basketball 30+ years, even though he's retired, he still goes and coaches at Pace. He lives in the country club, Miami. Like he's just been around. I didn't realize he had done all that. He's just my neighbor who loves me as precious.
Yeah, his son, Stephen played with, Steve Blake.
Curtis.
Curtis,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
oh,
sorry,
yeah,
Curtis.
yeah, no,
Yeah, they were,
Mhm.
and they played 3-on-3 and beat all the teams in Dade County.
yeah.
They were like a force. And Reed would be considered a coach.
Correct. Be just like.
The other one that I had was Joe Weber, who's a local resident here in Miami Lakes and coached Columbus. At least the 2 state championships and has 600 high school wins. So it puts him up kind of like in the Mike Uspensky and Gary Gray.
Is he still at Columbus?
He stepped down.
Huh?
He stepped down.
He may be stepping down, but he's still. Well, I don't know. So I don't know.
I thought
I know that
I
he's
might be wrong.
considering that. No, I know he's considering that. Because he was gonna bring his web ball up here to Miami Lakes. Or maybe, and I thought doing it for the future, like in a couple years, he might retire.
What did you just said he's bringing his web ball?
WEB, it's his summer program.
Oh.
He runs at Columbus.
Okay.
So he's been at Columbus 29 years.
Has to be almost 600 wins. And that 600 wins probably was last year's stats. And I don't know if he officially retired or thinking about it.
Another factor we might want to consider is age.
Mhm.
You know, where if some of these guys like this coach are getting up in years, maybe, while we can still honor him while he's still living, give them a priority, where others are, say, are in the 30s or 40s, consider them maybe for a future year.
The other question we have to consider,
Mhm.
Jim, the way the reso is written for a coach, can they be active? Because I know athletes have to be retired.
I think that's only in pro. I think that with professional athletes, once they retire, they have to be retired.
3 years.
3 years.
But did
I don't
coach
think-
didn't have that in the reso?
Well, here, let me see if I.
No, I'm
Yeah, no,
I'm curious,
Yeah,
because if that were the case, then honestly, that would eliminate both of them because they're still both active.
Who's that?
If
Oh,
that rule is
Weber?
Weber and Reed, because they're still both active,
Oh,
technically, you know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't remember if there was in the coach.
I don't know if he does it as like a volunteer though, or like, I don't know, like, I wouldn't even know. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like that's on his own merit that he goes back and coaches?
waiting periods. Athletes and teams shall generally not be inducted for at least 3 years after they have finished competing. Athletes and teams, exceptions may be approved by the number. The 3-year term would not generally apply to builders and community members. A person or a team is not inducted into the ranks when the first nominated makes it. That's different. So waiting periods, athletes and teams, so
3 years.
generally not. So it doesn't say coaches.
I just wanted to make sure that we weren't.
Right.
Coaches Association, Florida Athletic Coaches Association, he was a president. Hey, Marie. Look, well, like you said, his son's job is the radio sport, with the
Was,
sport
yeah.
radio.
Yeah, he was. He was Jim's producer, Jim Menich.
Mm.
Well, I would say between the two, with all the different things that Reed's done, he would probably be a better pick
And Joe this year.
than Joe this year. Able Joe for next year, but Reed has done, things,
With the Optimist.
so he's kind of like the one trick pony, but has done it well. It's
Yeah,
just-
Yeah,
but Reed's also been involved in the Optimist, where
Right.
Joe really is a resident of the town,
Right.
but
Well, actually, we've used him to come over to do clinics,
yeah,
but still, Reed's done more in that area. For the Miami Lakes community.
mhm.
let me see how it's played. I mean, I'll go back on.
I'm gonna pull this one out. And Rivers out.
Weber.
Do you want his thing to go over there? I just had a copy that they gave it to me.
That's Reed?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know, because I know these, I just didn't know if you had in your
No,
binder.
no, that was in the pile, the pile that.
Oh, that you
Yeah.
can't
That
find.
I'm just.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Ah.
look for it and then, unfortunately, so.
I know.
I mean, I'll go back and I understand where Miriam's point is, that if you pick a baseball player, but then you're shooting yourself in the foot.
No, I know.
Because this area is predominant baseball. I'm gonna go back on Danny, he's been heavily involved in the town. I know. I know Danny very well. I went to school with him.
Okay. Oh, that's your error?
Yeah,
Okay.
I graduated in 95, Danny was 97,
He graduated when?
97.
From high school?
I graduated in 95. I have my 30th high school reunion next year. Not looking forward to that. And I know he was drafted, I want to say 3rd round. The major league draft, 3rd or 4th round, by the Mariners. And he played 6 years before blew out his shoulder. And that's when he had to give up the game. Again, I don't know Jose. I'm going based on
Yeah.
what Dave has mentioned about him. And then I know we kind of put Rivers and Don kind of on hold.
Yeah.
So really,
And Joe,
and Joe, we put him on hold. So technically we're down to 5. Now the question is, do we want a 5 class or a 4 class? You know what I mean?
right,
Can I can, like I said, baseball is the main sport in this area. Can I see 3 baseball people getting in? That's the main sport in this area. Baseball's always been the love of Miami Lakes.
well, because you have maybe a potential 3rd going in baseball, it's like,
Cut you off there. I think that for me, as growing up here, soccer was the #1 thing before. I mean, baseball, you used to have HAA. Alex played for HAA. He barely played for Miami Lakes. So I'm thinking back in the day, soccer was it. As then baseball is like now, but still, I wouldn't say that that's maybe now it is. Soccer for me took over.
yeah, it was big. I mean,
Huge.
Miami Lakes soccer was big. The
Oh,
Waves.
the wave, I mean, that's why when I was surprised that Tuss was never in there.
It was strictly, I don't think I ever had him on my list because I was going through the people that I had worked with myself. I didn't work with Don because I was never in soccer. But, so I worked with, the other people that you, Roland Gomez and George Timmons. And I'd like to get eventually the president that started it all and spent 10 years, making sure it was right, as Rivers, Denby. Eventually. But, I'm thinking if we had the three baseball, a soccer
And a basketball.
and
I mean, I mean, it's a wide open field because you got three different sports. Where in the past, I mean, by looking at our past classes that I'm here written, it's a lot of information.
Mhm.
Last year was football, baseball, soccer. Because it was in soccer, correct, Enriquez?
Yes,
The year before that was basketball. Terry Curry was
he was community builder,
community builder. DeLuca was golf and Gary Cray was
baseball.
baseball. Before that was football, volleyball, baseball, soccer, football. Then basketball, community builder. Obviously, Papa would be considered community builder.
Right.
And then George Deming was Optimus community builder. So that year we had three community builders.
Normally every year we have a community builder.
No, yeah.
no, but we're saying like having three baseball guys.
Wouldn't be, you know, the year before that was football, community
We-
builder, football,
We can also
volleyball,
look at it
community
this
builder.
way, if we cut out one of the baseball, we still have two. So.
No,
it's
yeah.
like,
And then football, baseball, and community builder.
It seems, so pretty much every year it's been like a nice spread,
yeah,
Mhm.
not three of baseball. And then, I don't know, I just think that those three are so different.
this year we don't have any football. Like, there's no-
Not even not even from past, nothing.
Well, I mean, it's like, I tried to go over a priority of who I thought were
Yeah,
the best
got you.
people, not sport. I just, who were the
Mhm.
best candidates. So I
Oh.
didn't even go back in and look like Red Munoz, but he's baseball and basketball.
Mhm.
Um. And he needs to come in too. But again, if we start pulling all these in, then we're gonna,
No, it becomes overwhelming. I hear you.
yeah,
I'm with you.
so. It might be nice though that we can start narrowing it down in our minds, so there is a balance every year. Even
Mhm.
though but it has to be the best. If there's somebody that's two baseball players are better than this basketball player, then it's going to be baseball.
Because, I mean, eventually we need to look at James Jones.
Well, I've talked to somebody about it, and they told me, can't you schedule, your ceremony around his schedule? Because he's coming down here to play the Heat and.
Because now he's the president. Now he's the president of the Suns.
Well, but I mean, he could come down to a Heat game and then you do it on that day he's here. I said, I almost felt like telling him to take a hike, but I just said, oh, that's a really great idea.
Yeah.
How you gonna pull that off?
No, I mean,
Well-
that type of event, if and when the day we do that, then what we can do is we honor him at that night at our ceremony, and then the day the Suns do come, we tell him, hey, come on down to town hall, and we'll present them
Right.
with his stuff at town hall, you know, before the game. Or we'll take a field trip to that game and have him give us tickets.
That's okay.
Halftime.
Halftime. Yeah, I can talk to Mike Diamante about that.
So anyway, I didn't go back in and look on my list to see if there was somebody like a Mike Uspensky who coaches football. But I mean, we've got good candidates here. We just have to decide if we want 4 or 5 and then. You know, 'cause I think we narrowed it down to 5, and
yeah, we're done 5.
we're down to 5. So it's whether or not,
Whether we
We
want to
go
do all
4 or
5,
5.
or we want to hold one more person.
I mean, if they go, if it goes relatively quickly, because I don't see anybody really get overblown on the 4 or 5 that we have, you know, talking. We could do 5.
Mike Cabal would be the only talker in that group, because I guarantee you Alex will be nice and short. Can Mike talk?
Honestly, I don't know. I know he can coach.
Yeah, no, I mean, I worked with Mike when you saw me at Barry.
Oh, okay.
Remember, you saw me at Barry a couple times announcing over there, so.
I mean, you.
I mean, we could talk, we've got a lot of stories, but you know, we could cut Reed off.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But just don't get Stephen, Curtis to introduce.
No.
Yeah, disc jockey and a.
Yeah, Curtis not allowed to introduce him.
No, I think that'd be cool if he did though.
No, that would be,
Curtis, yeah.
yeah, we gotta make sure we reach out to Don Bailey, make sure he's here again.
Well, we need to get Don Bailey in next year or a year. Don Bailey should be a good candidate. He played football at HML. And he's another, to me, would be a highlighter.
Definitely can. All right, I mean. it's-
So what do?
We gotta make the decision
wanna
whether we
vote
wanna
on
do 4 or
4 or
5.
5?
I mean, I'm fine with the 5 that we have. It gets,
You know, I'm
Yeah.
fine with that.
Or who's the 5 then you're saying?
it would be Fernandez, Cavone, Delgado, Caballero, and Stevenson. We would be holding Weber, Denby, and Tufts for next year. As a starting point for next year. Because Reed can go either as a coach or a community builder, because he helped build the basketball for Miami Lakes Optimist, correct? So technically, he could be our community builder for the year, so we have that category.
Well, yeah, Cavone as a community builder.
Is Cavone a community builder, or is he an athlete coach?
He's an administrator.
Went,
Right,
right, went from athlete to coach to athletic director
He's done all
to
three.
community
Yeah,
with Barry, I mean. what is
Yeah,
that, Barry?
what I'm saying though, I mean, community builder in Miami Lakes,
Yeah.
no, but
I got you.
so, but we can list him as athlete coach, so you get a coach in there
Right.
with Cavone. You get a community builder, because Reed technically helped build Optimus
Mm-hmm.
basketball with Jim and others. And then you have 3 athletes. I think it's a well-rounded class.
Mhm.
And it's just, you know, if we want to keep them short, we tell them, you got 7 minutes and I'm gonna time you. You know, we give them the amount of time that they have.
Right.
You know, that's our call as that night, you know.
Yeah, because even if we went into this, we would have a community builder, another baseball and a soccer. You know, so I mean, the way you described it, you know, you got Pavone as a coach now and which I think that's his
That's his,
claim to fame too,
Yeah.
because of national titles he won.
I mean,
I'd make a motion that we take the 5 that you have presented.
okay, so I have a motion and a second by Dave. All in favor?
We'll
Aye.
discuss it.
Okay, any
Yeah, we have to discuss.
open discussion? Done.
I think,
Better than that.
think. To me, you're a newbie, but you're an outsider, so sometimes it's nice you're fresh, like you're hearing everything, but. You may have a take or you've done something before that you're like, oh, this ain't deep.
Well,
Speak up.
they're definitely very important people. I mean, they've done things in the community, so, you know, they're all impactful. I get where, you know, where you come from, when you have overloaded on a specific area. Some people might feel overshadowed, but that's for everything, right? That's not necessarily just for, you know, accolades and stuff like that, because, you know, people always have a chip on their shoulder for what they did, so they're grateful for what they do. But I think it's a well-rounded class. Me personally, I would do the, you know, 2 baseball and then the other 2 candidates, and then leave the next baseball for maybe another time or for next year or the year after, because again, once you start getting into the whole, a lot of people, then, you know, one guy comes up, they did A, B, and C, played in the majors for 13 years. The next guy, I only got up to AAA because then I got hurt. And then the other guy, you know, hey, I never really made it, but I'm a big person in the community. So, you know, it's kind of tiers and levels. But that's just.
Yeah, no, but it's good. I mean, you have to, that's why we're a group, we're a committee.
But I know that having the 5 is just easier because you're at 5 now, so you know you wouldn't really have to keep the whole. Well, who deserves it more right now?
The other thing with 3 baseball is that they're all at 3 different levels. You know, you have. You know, one that plays softball, baseball and really not well known.
Correct.
Then you have one that's super well known. So you can't really compare those 2.
Yeah.
But then you throw the 3rd one in, so maybe you can't really compare any 3 of them because they're all at different levels.
It's not like I could say, you know, if you're throwing Alex in with Red, who they both played at a high level in the bigs and stuff like that, and you know, that would be, you know, understanding one was a lot better than the other.
Yeah.
Because Alex had a more decorated career than Red. Red was great because I remember, I'll tell a story off the record later about Red. But
That
you know,
disqualifies him?
no, it actually, to me, it actually makes him even more, it gives him more accolade. But anyhow, so you know, it's you even though they're all baseball players, you can't compare apples to apples because they're not apples to apples, even though they're baseball players. One guy played in the 80s and like we had that discussion, and one guy played in the 90s and one guy played in the 70s. You know, baseball in the 70s wasn't the same as it was in the 80s, it wasn't the same as in the 90s, and not what it is now. So it's based on merit of when they played the game.
And I looked it up, Danny's 46, like he has time for us to let him in a Hall of Fame, you know? He's only 46.
And he's been on the pile for 5 years.
Well, what does that tell you as well then? People have been over him for the past 5 years, so it's not just because, yes, we can renominate him, he's still 46, he still has time. To, put it on, listen, I'll be coming with women next year, people,
I
get
hope
ready,
so. That's the only thing we're missing in this class, to be honest with you.
I know,
You
didn't
know,
give me enough time.
We've already nominated you once.
I didn't say me, listen, I'm making calls to people left and right, I'm like, what
He could be our
happened here?
first two-time
Yeah,
nominee.
No.
Two-time inductee.
athlete and a coach.
We state person out there, no.
Go as a
Beth
player.
Fernandez, listen, I got a ton of people that I'm like, I can't believe this.
I tried to nominate somebody who was a
Sherry
female,
Cowling, Andy Castro, like I think of,
Annie.
yeah,
I reached out to the family and they denied me.
right. Well, that's why I asked you that, because
They
I'm like,
shut
I
me
know
down.
people are gonna deny, but
They shut me
sometimes it
down.
has to be the right person of like.
Well, I
who
reached
knows
out to them
who
through
kind of-
Pedro Fontavola,
Mm,
because Pedro was the one that gave me Annie.
right,
And I reached out, I actually spoke to her son. Because her son was married to Melissa Arteaga, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken. And I reached out to Melissa and she put me in contact with Pedro, if I'm not mistaken, is his son.
Yeah.
And he blatantly closed the door on me.
Mm.
He had no interest to nominate his mom.
Wow.
well, okay, this may be the son, but let's,
I mean,
we
again,
gotta go
that was my
sometimes
only,
other-
that was my
yeah,
only
I
way
agree.
in
I know.
to talk to them, you know what I mean? Because
Was it
Pedro gave me the name and,
Any Bustamante?
yeah,
Who's the back? I'm on.
that's
who's
what
the
it was.
back?
It was Bustamante.
This back,
Yeah,
phenomenal,
no, yeah.
so.
I tried. I went through all the channels to get her nominated a couple years ago. And the family blatantly closed the door on me. Yeah, oh, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Never heard back from them.
We're
again.
here gonna help you do it.
Yeah, no, so. All right, so we do have a motion on the table. We have a second. We have a discussion.
Well, so we're still
We're still
discussing.
in
So
discussion.
if we took a baseball player out, would we put a non-baseball player that was tabled for next year in?
Or do we leave it at 4?
Or we leave it at 4? Cause in that way.
I guess I'd have to know more, cause when I looked it up, like I'm thinking, okay, cause for me, Alex and Danny, to me, like you said, different years, different time. Danny's 46, oh my God, he's still young. And then Jose, I don't know much more, but then what
Yeah.
you've told us about him and
Well,
as
one
far
thing I
as
didn't
like,
emphasize enough is Jose has 3 sons that are outstanding athletes. And when they were growing up, he was a prominent coach here at the Optimus Park, when his sons played.
cause it's Miami Lakes, so you think of what have they done for Miami Lakes? If we're going to, and then like you said, just right now, like the connections, what connections do they have? Like, and then again, if we want to continue to build this, we gotta think about, you joked about Curtis doing his dad, but like, we gotta start thinking about who we can tap into
Right.
moving forward, who's gonna bring people to our event. Not saying that any of them are gonna bring more than others, it's not about that, but just kind of thinking about, this is the town of Miami Lakes, what have they done for the community? So, but again, I don't know Danny that well, and I don't know Jose. Like, I'd have to, again, my teacher brain would need like paper pencil, I need to start highlighting stuff. To pick 4, and just say to put one of them or somebody into next year. To have 4, not that I'm against having 5 either, I did write a note here, we talked about, or did we rework the
wall.
wall?
No,
I
it
mean-
hasn't been done.
Right.
But I've already spoken to Fast Times and I've spoken to our handyman.
Mhm.
It can get done. So it's just a matter of,
Actually going there and.
getting it done. Obviously you guys have some years that are 4 and some years that are 5 and they don't,
We're losing, right, it's
Yeah,
not.
they don't match,
we're losing
so then it'll be like
balance.
5-1. It'll look like kind of music.
Yeah.
But that's okay. 'Cause
That's fine.
At the top, it's all the same, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would all start at the same height.
As long as you're on the top, that's all that matters.
We could do it however.
I'm outnumbered here by 3 pages to 0.
They didn't put us the memo to wear our shirt today.
I always wear that shirt. I actually went home with that shirt.
Well, dang it, I'm wearing.
I feel it's timely for this year.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Hey, but your shirt says, Hall of Fame. Mine just says Sports Hall of Fame Committee.
So I can get done. And what I was thinking is just doing it by last name. So there's no favoritism, there's no anything. It's just.
You should go alphabetized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
So King James, that won't count, it'll be the last name, okay.
All right,
So we're back to,
I mean,
I would say that if we,
You know,
if we,
never-
if we did take a baseball out, we maybe put the soccer guy in. Tufts, and then that would give you,
No, but I don't mind leaving Tufts for next year and getting like, cause if you're saying you don't have a resume, I mean, I would.
well, I
Either
know,
call
I mean, I
Kathy or
know his
Heather.
resume, I mean, it
I
doesn't,
know,
it wouldn't bother me to not have a resume,
right,
but, you know, Dave doesn't know, he's just,
Right.
pressing our judgment
right.
on,
But I don't mind tabling him for next year. I don't.
but then next year that would give us right off the
Mhm.
bat, soccer, a baseball.
and a community builder.
And a community builder. Plus on Bailey, oh, I'm sorry,
I agree.
um. If we were voting, I mean, we've had the discussion, so I guess we can call vote on the motion, right?
Yeah.
Unless we're still discussing.
Yeah.
So,
No more discussion. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
This is for the original.
For the original 5, yes.
Bingo.
Okay, any opposed?
Me.
The motion carries 3-1.
That's okay.
To have a class of 5 for this year, sorry, for this year. Which would be Alex Fernandez, Mike Cavone, Reed Stevenson, Danny Delgado, and Jose Caballero. The only thing I'm gonna ask, Dave, do you have documentation on Caballero?
I turned in substantial
Okay, can
information.
you
all
just
those
get
days.
me? Because I have to turn in a council item tomorrow.
Hmm.
Where I have to put one paragraph on him.
let me see if
I would just say. For years, he's been one of the best senior baseball players in the country, in the tournaments around the country. He's probably got a larger trophy case for winning awards for playing baseball than anybody else in the state of Florida. And he's got a substantial record here.
And you said-
Coaching at the Optimist Park when his 3 boys were playing.
He still lives here, or you say he lives on the West Coast?
No, he lives in Miami Lakes for a long time.
Okay, so do we want to list him as an athlete or do we want to list him as a community builder?
I think
No, he's an
athlete.
athlete.
No, because I know he coached at the Optimist, that's why I'm asking.
He's still very active.
He still plays.
And you said Cabellero?
CAB,
Ellero, yeah, Caballero.
however you see it, it's
You do a little Spanish. accent.
ALLERO.
Would he be qualified if he's still playing in tournaments? Because he would have to.
That's the thing, as an athlete,
He would have to be 3 years.
if we list him as an athlete,
He comes in as an athlete. He's still playing.
that's the
Correct,
thing.
but there's a 3-year
There's a 3-year
retirement.
waiting period
But
for
isn't, but
athletes.
isn't that really for pro ath? I thought,
Yeah.
It just says athlete in
I
general,
just
the way
wanna
it's
make sure
written.
that-
No, I know, that's a good point.
Well,
I mean, you could be,
You know, hey,
he's a recreational player.
you can't, you can't judge that. We got a guy who's playing who's 98, you're gonna wait till he's retired for 3 years? That's
No,
absurd.
that's different. I'm saying since he goes to tournaments and he plays.
It's not like he's only playing geezer ball. I mean, he's
Yeah.
playing.
But we should
But
probably.
that's different from
Okay,
pro
but
ball.
but that's what I'm saying. Should we list him as a community
Yeah.
builder to avoid any
Well,
discrepancy?
yeah, you can do that, but I think we should also amend, not.
We'll have to do that next year. Yeah, next year.
Well, our next meeting,
Yeah.
amend that to make it pro.
Yeah,
Because
that's
a
for
rec-
pro.
Penalize a recreational player,
He's still being active, he's still active,
yeah.
even
Yeah.
though he's not technically.
That should.
Like, we can say he plays for a team, but it's like, what is a team that represents the United States,
Right, no, there should be a distinguish, like Jim said, if you're a pro, maybe you should be retired for 3 years, but. This is someone who's doing it for free.
Yeah.
So he should not be penalized for that.
Competitive
What's
fun.
his name, Danny Delgado?
Yes.
Is the one that's coming in. So I was just gonna, point of reference, on that, the class of Howard Snellenberger. Danny Delgado. Dave Oliver,
Oh,
okay,
this is who he was in the bucket with.
Chris Cocciani,
Oh, Jesus.
Reed Stevenson,
Oh, no wonder he
Reed
didn't.
Stevenson, Javier Zapata. So,
That's why he didn't make the cut.
right, Dave Oliver beat him out. That's what it
Of course,
was.
hello.
All
Alright, so
Those old
I'll
young
put that
bucks.
on my notes
Yeah.
here. Jim, you're asking
Right.
to amend the reso,
Had a good
but I'll talk to
preparation.
Andres and Jeremy about that on a separate
Right,
item to amend the
right,
reso later on, after, maybe after this year's ceremony.
Yeah, it wouldn't have to be now, because
Yeah.
we're already choosing. It would have to be for-
But, to avoid any conflict, should we list Caballero as a community builder?
yes. This,
Just to avoid,
Yeah, here's Jose's trophy.
Well, did he ever really? play
And that may
pro?
not be
No.
all of it.
no,
So
It's
then,
incredible.
he was part of the community and.
right, that's what I'm saying, to
So-
me, it's a big difference.
I know, but I'm just saying. Because my only fear is the way the reso is written right now.
Mhm.
We can get around it by listing him as a community builder, which is fine. Because again, he coached at the Optimist, he plays geezer ball, he represents the town
At events.
at events
Gotcha.
as a community, where until we get that reso amended,
Mhm.
we can always change it later on in life.
Got you,
You understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
I'm just trying to get around
Yeah.
terminology.
Mhm.
So we put him as a community builder.
Pass that to Miriam.
The,
Okay, I'm gonna keep this read stuff,
yeah.
okay?
That's fine.
And then you sent out what Jim sent you today? For Alex Fernandez and stuff? You sent it out to email?
Well, not right now.
Okay, can you send it to me? Cause I'm gonna need to work
Yes.
on that tonight. Between tonight and
If he
tomorrow.
played sports, that would be good.
No, I know. He actually does a lot of stuff with our drama, and there's another lady who's, they're doing a short film documentary. She used to be our chorus teacher. And they're doing a documentary. They came last year, like she was way back.
I'm gonna
My
reach
parents-
out to Cardenas to invite him to this year's ceremony.
Okay.
Adrian Cardenas,
Oh, yeah.
because he was inducted him last year. Okay, so going back to this, okay, so under new business, I'm also listing to amend the reso in the future. To distinguish the difference between athlete, to make it pro athlete, 3-year waiting period,
Good, good.
professional athlete.
But that's why Stevie Blake couldn't get nominated.
Yeah, correct.
On time, because,
Mm.
We had to wait.
and that's why I always understood it to be just.
Okay,
pro, but-
I mean, I just want to clear the air.
No, I agree, no.
It
that's-
doesn't hurt to clear the air.
Right.
Okay, any other new business?
I had something here from we had $155 and we had to spend it by September 30th. Was there something about that? I don't know, I had a little note here.
Yeah, I know
Did we-
we wanted to do the podcast.
Yeah.
Podcast, I'm kind of waiting till August 20th. Because the first guest that we want to put in the podcast is the mayor,
Right, I remember that, yeah.
but
I'm here.
I'm kind of waiting till August 20th to decide whether,
And yes, I got you.
could we finish the election to see what happens?
Okay.
So that I can get his crew with
Mhm.
Maritz and Joe and to schedule him so we can start filming.
And we were gonna use that for the podcast.
We were gonna use the first 100, I think 100 out of the money.
Yeah.
I gotta get with Tico, yeah, it's really for the editor.
Mm.
So I gotta get with Tico just to confirm that it's still 100.
Okay,
And then I think that was 2 to 3 episodes, 2 to 4 episodes, something like that. And then I know we wanted to do the mayor, we wanted to do Adrian, I wanted to do Jim. And then we can decide if it's 4, we can decide one more person and then put them out and then obviously promote this year's ceremony. And stuff like that. Jim, on those applications that Andres is gonna send have phone numbers, because I'll need those next week.
Okay.
They have phone numbers and stuff?
Yeah, emails and. phone
Okay,
numbers. Otherwise, it's not complete.
okay.
so now with these 5 names, what do we have to do? for
I have to
next
write
week?
a council letter now. I have to write a council item,
Okay,
submit it to Jeremy tomorrow.
okay.
I guess on the agenda of the meeting's what, Tuesday next week or Thursday?
I thought it was
Tuesday,
the-
it's Tuesday next week.
We have Optimus. No, we have Optimus Monday.
Okay.
So Tuesday, I'm not sure I don't have anything Tuesday because obviously I have to present that.
It's every second Tuesday of.
My son has a haircut. What time is that meeting?
Anything.
It's the before school.
No, I'm kidding. Trust me, I'm thinking, I'm doing the same thing.
What? I've most kids leaving.
So,
What time is the meeting at?
they usually start at 6.
So you propose those names to them and
The
then
council, and they just give us a blessing.
Okay.
They did the question.
Yeah, because they have final say technically.
Yeah.
And say yes.
The
no.
mayor may jump up and down on one of the baseball players.
You will. Okay, Jim, I might need you. I'll let you know. Let me
Okay.
see. I mean, I might show up late,
Yeah, I might need the minutes of this meeting to,
not for that.
cause they, Gina sent me something about making sure that everything is in for tomorrow, because we need to.
Oh, the ballot, yeah, okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, might need to do minutes by tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have to do the council item by tomorrow, so like,
Because they need to validate that we spoke about.
Yeah.
That for the meeting.
Validate what,
the vote,
The vote.
the selection
Yeah,
that we,
so we need
Oh,
the
the vote
minutes,
on these?
yeah.
yeah, we need the minutes by tomorrow. So, send me what you got and then I'll refine them and then I'll send them in.
Okay, anything else on their new business?
Make a motion with adjourn.
Well, we need to set, next meeting.
Yeah,
Next
next
meeting.
meeting.
Oh, okay.
And that meeting will be for the setup and making sure that we're running on time for.
Yeah, let's say sometime in September.
Yeah.
Then we can do those phone calls, I mean, I can call you and then we can call people,
Right.
that's not an issue. You guys prefer Tuesdays?
Focus on.
I don't think, maybe go to Miriam's schedule.
Miriam,
What's the best for you?
What day is best for you? What day do you have games?
Oh, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, but it's okay.
Does
I'll be
Tuesdays
fine.
work for you?
That's fine. Yeah.
But I would say 5 o'clock evidently is a problem because Ryan and.
Yeah,
No, I mean,
no, it's cutting it.
That's hard.
September 17th,
17?
Yeah, what day of the week,
September,
No, but
what day of the week is
that's
that?
a Tuesday.
Tuesday, okay.
Can you check to see if,
Yeah, I'm checking right
no,
see if
but
we can
you
do
have
a
it in
6:30?
now. September 17.
Or is there a council meeting? There shouldn't be a council meeting.
May.
Yes.
I
So
had
September
chances a
17th,
lot
there
of
is a
times
meeting at 5:30
when
with
I,
the Economic
when
Development
I
Committee.
retired.
What time is it?
Harold,
They start at 5:30 and it's an hour and a half.
Okay.
So they'll be
Seven,
done at
Which
7.
included
We can
ushering.
do 7.
So I ushered.
Can we do 7
baseball,
o'clock on the
basketball,
7 o'clock,
football,
okay, on that day?
Concerts and everything.
Dave, 7 o'clock that day work?
On the
Fun.
17th.
And
Okay.
So 9:17 at 7?
they always put me in the best position, so I had behind home plate, lower level, taking care of the Marlon's family section.
Okay.
So she was married and then visiting, she married him back.
Okay, so we have a motion to adjourn by Dave,
The
a
wives,
second,
Second.
the wives.
at
She
6:22
likes-
PM.
because they want
All in
to talk
favor?
about Baby,
Aye.
like that. She wanted to. talk
Passes
about
4-0.
sports.
We are now adjourned.
And she'd stand next to me and we'd talk about sports for hours.
Mhm.
But delightful.